Hello and welcome to CBS News Philadelphia. I'm Alicia Roberts. Sports director Don Bell had a chance to talk to former Phillies slugger Ryan Howard. For the next half hour, they'll discuss all things Phillies, including Trea Turner's big game against the Kansas City Royals. And later, the big piece reveals what he misses the most about Philadelphia. Here's Don Bell.
What's your average day like?
What's my average day like? Fatherhood. Fatherhood is good, man. Been chasing these kids around. So on the average now we're about to get ready for school to start here like the next week. So get the kids back into school, doing all that good stuff. Trying to figure out this thing they call golf. Been playing a little bit of golf, getting out there, enjoying it. So, get the kids to school, play a little golf, do some, kind of business calls, investment calls, and things of that sort. So, man, just living.
Well, let's see. You got golf and investing calls; those things go together. So, you're off to a good start. And I got to ask you. So, is this your first time playing golf? Because it's humbling, bro.
It's extremely humbling. So, this is my first time playing a lot more consistently. So, I'll try to get out like a couple times a week or whatnot. I remember the first time I ever played golf. The majority of the times I ever played golf, because I never played when I was playing baseball, but every year in spring training, this is a funny story. Every year in spring training, we would always have one of the shorter days. And that was because Bill Giles would have he would host a golf tournament right in the middle of spring training. So we'd have a short practice day, and then everybody who was going to go play golf would play golf. So he drafted me on his team. This was like 06, maybe 07, somewhere in there, early. And I remember we were teeing off on one box, and then the hole next to us, the pin, Jimmy and Milt were on the pin, putting, and I hit it and sliced it so bad that it almost hit them. And I was riding in the cart with Bill Giles. He was like, "Ryan, you are horrible at golf." I was like, "Yo, I've never played golf before in my life. Like, this is the first time." I was like, "You don't pay me to hit golf balls." So yeah, but I've gotten better since, and but I'm really enjoying it now, so it's fun.
Oh, that's great. By the way, I learned how to play in your hometown of St. Louis. So when I
solid.
was there, that's when I learned how to play. And I recognized early on that if you're going to play this game, you've got to play often. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to play next month," and then take 5 months off. Otherwise, you're going to be trash, and it's not going to be worth it. So,
right. It's tough enough when you take 2 weeks off. Like, when you're like, "Oh man, I haven't played in a month." You don't know what you're gonna get. Sometimes, usually when you haven't played in a while and you come out and you take those first few swings, and it's like, all right, cool. You're crushing it on the range because it's like you're not thinking about it. Then it's like once you get to that first tee box, start getting all them swing thoughts in there.
Yeah, no, it's a tough game. It's a tough game.
It is.
Skill level it's got to be hot to play the game of golf. So that's why I kind of man, I got to find something else. So the last time I saw you was in the fall of last year, the World Series. And it was electric in this city, as you know. I often feel like there's no place like Philadelphia, especially during the postseason. I want to ask you, though, about the Phillies trying to get back the year after losing a World Series. You experienced that in 2009. What's that like the following year?
The following year, nothing changes. I think the only thing is, you just have a feeling of unfinished business. You've proven to yourself that you know what it takes to get there, to get to the World Series. Let me slide back. Get into the postseason, but not only get into the postseason, have success in the postseason to make it to the World Series. But I think for those guys, it's understanding what it takes to be able to get to that, get back to the World Series, and this time figuring out how to try to win it.
The Phillies, obviously in the offseason, went out, added some guys, Trea Turner being the one in particular, right? $300 million contract, arguably the best shortstop in baseball. I know that you've paid attention to his struggles here in year one. What's it like in this town when things are going sideways for you on the field?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, for Trey, he saw it from the other side, being the visitor, where you expect that. Now wearing those red and white, the pinstripes, it becomes a different animal because when you got to show up, they want you to show up and show out every single day. Like coming to Philadelphia is a bit of an adjustment. There's been guys that are in there. I think Castellanos when he came in, it took him that kind of buffer year a little bit to kind of get the bearings and understand what Philly is, what the fans are, how they respond, how the media is. And once you get a full understanding of what that is, and you can go out and just play, you go out and play. And I think that's why you see Cassie going out right now and having the success that he's having. Trey is a professional. Like I love that pickup. I think he's a hell of a ball player. I think he's going to be a hell of a ball player. I think he's going to bring a lot of intangibles that are and leadership to that team to help get them to the next level. I mean, this to me, this is just kind of his buffer year of getting used to being and playing in Philadelphia and getting an understanding for how things are in Philly. And I think once he gets in there, understands that and gets comfortable with it, I think he's going to be just fine.
Booing in Philadelphia really is like it's a rite of passage. It's almost cliche at this point. I think, in fact,
Yeah.
I would say booing here is a cliche. What was your reaction when you saw that they decided to go the other way with it this weekend and give the guys standing ovations all weekend long?
Man, we got to build up, not break down. You know what I'm saying? So we've been saying this all along, man. Look, the guy is going out there. Nobody's going out there saying, "Hey, let me go out here, go punch out 4 times or go do this." Guys are going out there trying to put their best foot forward. So I think, when you can go and build guys up and continue to lift them up, then they feed off of that energy. I think one of the things was last year that made me so happy for seeing those guys not only make the postseason for the first time in a long time, but making it to the World Series. They got to experience what Philadelphia is really like from a fan standpoint from the other side. Just as hard as they can be on you, they love you twice as hard. So, I think when Trey's able to experience that love and get lifted up, he's going to want to continue to play. I mean, it's already in him to want to compete and be, the best that he can be. But I think that when you got the fans they're behind you, they're trying to lift you up. When hey, dude's struggling, like we got to pick him up. We can't keep burying this guy. We got to try to pick him up. And then that's when things I think will start to turn around. And then you'll see. I think Trey. I'm gonna go out there go say Trey gonna have a blow up September. I'm gonna say it now.
You'd love to see it. I can listen. It would be storybook. I could see that coming from him because you could start to see a little swag, especially this weekend. He had the big home run and a couple of doubles, so he was clutch. One guy that the fan base has embraced from like day one is Bryce Harper, right? He said all the right things. He's done really some great things here as well. But he's trying to make the transition to first base. You played that position. You played it well. You played it here. How difficult is that?
First base is a tough position. I think it's a lot tougher than people think because aside from the pitcher and the catcher, the first baseman probably has the most action in the game for the most part. So, I mean, when you're getting guys throwing balls over there to you that are tailing and cutting and sinking, and it just, a lot of it has to do with your footwork the majority of the time and just being able to try to help keep the ball in front, understanding what guys are going to do, talking to guys, right? So Jimmy always had a play where if the ball was hit in the hole towards third in the hole, if you ever notice, Jimmy never tried to get the ball to me in the air. He would always try to throw it on that long hop because he would give me the good, it would give me a nice little long hop in between. So, and it's also kind of just communicating and understanding with your infielders, what they do on certain plays, how like I said, Jimmy going in the corner or kind of going in the hole, I knew the ball was going to be bounced, so working on digs and all that kind of stuff, man. It's a tough situation. I think a lot of people think playing first is really easy, but it takes a lot of work. But Bryce is the kind of athlete that can do it.
First base. You get no love at first base. People are like, oh, it's just first base. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're involved in almost every play.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, it's people are like, you just got to stand there and catch the ball.
Kind of
Sometimes
important.
it's hard. It is important. It's important. It is important.
So,
he can do it though. He can do it.
He's got the talent and ability. I think he's going to be just fine over there. He's athletic as hell and works his tail off. So I think he'll probably be fine. I want to ask you about retiring. I recently was watching the JJ Redick. You know who JJ is, right?
Yeah.
So he talked about retiring from basketball the moment he knew he was done. And he described it. He said, it was like death. It was like your former self, the athlete in you, the person you've been since you were 4 or 5 years old, just died. What was your experience like the moment you realized, yeah, it's a wrap?
It's different. I mean, obviously, it's different for everybody. For me, it was to an extent. It's like this is what you've been known for. This is what you've known. The majority of your life is playing baseball. So all the summers from little league all the way up through pro ball and whatnot. It's what you've done, but you do come to the realization that, hey, at some point, it was all going to come to an end. So it was really just facing that reality that, hey, it's it. But that's just one chapter, right? It's just one chapter of life to where it's like, it doesn't necessarily define who you are. It's just what I did. So, looking at that, it was always looking forward to the next part of life, being able to spend more time with the family and kids and being able to go to places during the summer and do summer vacations. Never really got that. So,
Right.
So it opened up a whole lot more experiences. And then obviously like venturing over into the business world and doing things from an investor standpoint. So, it's one of those things where I just looked at it as like, what, this chapter is done, but now it's time to get on to the next one. It was fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. At one point, you were the best in the world at something. Now you're going on to find what's that next thing. Obviously, I've seen you do investing of various sorts throughout the years. In fact, you brought the big piece chicken to Citizens Bank Park. That was cool. Thank you. That was tasty. Now, what's next?
Man, just continuing to look at different things. So I've invested in a company, Vilo, which helps make creating content very, very easy. So it's a platform where like sports personalities like yourself or athletes, content creators can get on, do a lot of hot takes off of the current like news sports articles. So it just brings the fan the opportunity to be able to like hop in and have conversations about different things across sports.
Oh, so you're jumping into the tech space now. Okay.
Yeah, man. You got to diversify the portfolio, D. Come on now.
That's how it is when you're a businessman. That's how you roll. So I just want to ask you a little bit more about that, right? Because there's so many different social media platforms, right? Obviously, there's TikTok, and then when you jump on social media, say for example Instagram, there's all different types of places that you can follow to get sports news, etc. How is this different?
So I mean, it's for sports. So I mean, it's for sports fans. So you kind of grab the article and you can create a hot take. It gives you the trending sports or trending situations. Basically, like if we're just having this conversation, if we were to pick a hot topic, I mean, obviously you had the Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson fight. Being able to hop on there and give my take on that entire situation and giving fans the platform and the forum to be able to come in and have conversations about that. That's what it's all about.
Okay, so on Vilo, I can see you dropping hot takes and play by play. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I mean, you got to get on there and go check it out, man. You got to get on and go check it out.
Listen.
You can do it too, Don. You can do it too.
Man, it's like you're in my business with all these teasing and stuff. You can't answer the question, you got to send me somewhere else. You've learned quickly. One question for you, because you mentioned, the bond with kids, your kids, and being a father now. I often see Nick Castellanos and I think his son Liam is 9 years old at the ballpark. And I remember seeing you here, with your son and with family. And when you look back on those times, how special were they?
Man, those are some of the most special times that a father can have with his son. Those were for me. I always say one of the funnest times I had was my first All-Star game in 2006 for the home run derby. My son at that time was 5 years old. So having him out there, I know people were talking about like, the whole thing where they saw him and I had him kiss my bat for good luck and going up there. Those moments are priceless. Like being able to have those moments where he could come to the ballpark and run around and have the guys take to him, and him being able to interact. It's so funny because as he continued to grow up in the clubhouse, it was like, oh, other kids would look at, oh my God, that's Jimmy Rollins, that's Chase Utley, that's Shane Victorino. He's like, what's up, Jimmy?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they were just the guys. They were just the guys to him. But I think it's very special. I think what Cassie's got going on with his son is, it's a bond that's extremely special, because for his son to be able to see him and his work ethic and what he's able to do, and them just enjoying that and being around the game, whether he grows up playing baseball or not, taking the work ethic and what it is that Nick is able to kind of pass along with him, and being able to hang out with the Trea Turners and Bryce Harpers, and just the bits of knowledge that you can get from those guys, whether it's playing baseball or just in life, that kind of stuff is priceless, man.
Pretty amazing, man. It's always nice to see from our perspective too, because you could see the actual joy. It's so genuine. All right, so before I let you go, I just got a couple questions for you. The food that you miss the most in Philly?
Ooh, Colby's Big Piece chicken sandwich.
Wow.
You set yourself up for that one, Don. You didn't set yourself up for that one, bro. Aside from that, I'd probably say cheesesteak.
Okay.
You gotta have a good cheesesteak.
From where?
That's a tough one, man. I mean, there were so many different places, because I used to get them like from all different places. Man, back in the day, it was probably Pat's. I'll get them all the time from Pat's.
Okay. Yeah, this. That's like the question that politicians try to avoid answering. By the way.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna just lean into it, man. I'm gonna give you the 100. I'm gonna give you the 100. I'm gonna lean into it.
I appreciate it, brother.
Even though now I can't go get a cheesesteak from anywhere else because we just put that out there. But way to go, Don.
Hey, put it in the universe, but maybe Pats will really look you out though. Something heavy. Hey. So it's all good. It's all good. Listen, man, I really appreciate your time. Always good chatting with you. Stay blessed, you and your family, and don't be a stranger when you come back to the 215. Oh
man, appreciate it, Don. Man, always, man. Always one of the people I've had fun doing interviews with. I love messing with y'all, as you know. How we always had that relationship and whatnot. So I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this special interview, download our app, CBS News Philadelphia, on your smart TV, Roku, Apple TV, or streaming device to catch us every weekend.